on my wife's photo album and now I'm tempted to cheat on her, thinking it was mice or rats. I told Isabel in the kitchen that night while she was adding the finishing touches to the bolognese and I was pouring us a couple of glasses of wine. I think there's something in our attic, I said casually as I passed her the glass of wine. I'm going to go give it a clear out and see if it's a rat or something. When she said nothing, I looked at her face. It was completely pale, and she was staring at me with something I could not place in her eyes. It wasn't fear, it was something else. Don't go up there. I'll deal with it. I frowned. I really think it's something small, and I've been wanting to clean up that place for a while. Let me deal with it. She stared at me then, and a sort of involuntary shudder went up my spine. Jack, do not go up there. Promise me. I nodded slowly, confused. We respected and loved each other, and I wouldn't want to hurt her in any way, and given how stressed she was, I knew I had to listen to her. But she may as well have dangled a chocolate chip cookie in front of my face and told me not to ever touch it. So I waited until she left for work one morning and went up there. The attic was dark, but we had a light in the middle of the room. Regardless, I had my phone's torch I could rely on. Since ours was an older house, we had actual stairs leading up to the attic as opposed to a ladder, and when I walked to the end of the hallway and opened the door that led to the attic, I swore I heard a creak at the top of the stairs, the kind of creak only a foot can make when it lands on a faulty floorboard. The hair at the back of my neck stood up as though a cold draft had blown into the hall. I squinted into the darkness at the top of the stairs and softly asked, hello? As the moments passed, rationality caught up with me. How stupid was I to think there was something up there? Annoyed at myself, I climbed, grasped my phone and flicked the torch. And with more confidence than I truly possessed, I walked up the stairs, listening to each stair creak as I did. The attic was creepier than I remembered it. It was actually a space I had planned to convert into a game room of sorts, but Isabel had talked me out of it, and honestly over the years I had forgotten how big it was. It was your average attic in many ways. Dusty wooden floors, a small window at the end of the room overlooking the neighborhood, but it was spacious. Sure, it held all our old junk, but even so, the boxes and the couple of pieces of old furniture took up such little space at the far end of the room. I remember thinking how nice skylights would be in the sloping ceiling. Why had Isabel, who was so organized and wanted all the rooms in the house to be used, so keen to leave this as it was? A slight unease had started to make its way around the corners of my mind. As if on autopilot, I walked to the end of the attic where the 5 boxes which contained Isabel's things were lying. Part of me was screaming that this was a massive invasion of her privacy, but I didn't care by that point. I wanted to see what was in there that was making my wife act so strange about this particular room. I sat cross-legged on the dusty floor and pulled the first box to me, opening it up. The first box was just some old clothes that she had kept for sentimental value. When I reached the third box, something in me hesitated. I think a part of me knew that my life was going to change after I opened this box.